Welcome to another episode of Lawyer Interviews. I am your host, Jeff Dillon. With us today, we are very excited to have Tiffany Hill as our special guest. Tiffany is the owner of her own law firm, and I'm going to let her give a quick introduction. Tiffany, thanks so much for speaking with me.
Hi, thank you. It's a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to come on your platform and share a little bit about myself with your viewers and also learn more about what you do with your platform as well. So again, thank you. As you mentioned, I am Tiffany Hill. I'm a contracts attorney. I'd like to say the best way to describe what I do is I help clients protect their personal brand and prevent liability. So it's always good to prevent problems before they happen as opposed to on the back end. And I like telling my clients the engagement or retainer is always better on the front end when you're coming in trying to figure out how we can avoid problems as opposed to once we're already in litigation and the problems have already come into play. So I enjoy the foresight of being able to do that and assist my clients in that way.
Excellent. As a corporate attorney myself, I have to say I am very excited to finally not talk to someone in litigation and meet a like-minded, business-oriented contracts attorney. This is like a breath of fresh air for me and people watching, probably. I don't know who watches this stuff. People are into just looking at lawyers talk to each other, but it's a thing and it works. So
I know. That's,
this
you know
is
what? That's the thing I love about our profession is that it's so varied. Like we meet people that do all different things. Some who are not even practicing law, but they're still using their legal degree. So that's when I talk to people who are aspiring attorneys, that's always what I tell them. Like it's so many different areas because there's nothing that we do that the law does not impact in some way. So it is a great profession in that sense.
Excellent. Well, we're lucky to have you here and to hear about that. Tiffany, where are you based out of?
So I'm based out of Edmond, Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. And I'm licensed, though I've moved around a lot. So I'm one of those attorneys that I have a background in a lot of different places. So I'm originally from Louisiana. And so to your point about litigation, I also do some litigation. So we can get into that as well. But I am licensed in Louisiana. I'm licensed here in Oklahoma. I'm licensed in Ohio, where I used to live as well. And then I'm in many federal courts jurisdictions in Texas, Nevada, and where else? Quite a few places because I do consumer law litigation in federal courts as well.
Wow. Okay. And that is all these different licenses and jurisdictions. Is that dictated based on where all your clients are located or where the cases bring you?
It is. So a lot of it is dictated based on my clients. So of course, like I said, I'm originally from Louisiana. I have a lot of family there. So I actually went to school at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for law school. So I always will maintain, a presence there legally to be able to assist family in the state as well. Here in Oklahoma, that license, of course, is because that's where I'm based. And then the federal court jurisdictions are primarily because that's where my clients are. And for those of us familiar with, how court practice works, you can seek special permission to enter into different jurisdictions where clients are based for special matters. So I've done that in quite a few states because I have a strong presence of clients in those areas.
Got it. Very interesting. We'll hear more about your tour of Middle America, essentially. But so growing up in Louisiana, you said, where in Louisiana?
So the town is called Spearsville, which is actually where I was last week. I spent a week back home, and it's always fun to go back. It's a humbling experience because it's a very small town. I usually refer to Shreveport, which is a larger city, or some people are familiar with Monroe, but usually all of my friends, when I say I'm from Louisiana, they instantly think of New Orleans. And I'm like, it's nowhere close and definitely nowhere near. Near the feel or the vibe of New Orleans. So I grew up in a very small town, which is very family oriented. And I think even that plays into the type of person that I am and how I interact with my clients because I genuinely do love people. And I always connect that to my small town roots and my upbringing in that way as well.
So in college, is that when you decided to go to law school?
So I decided very early on in life to go to law school. And I'm one of those people where the people, when you think about, well, what was your plan B? And I didn't have one. And I'm like, I'm really glad that I enjoy it and I love it because I never thought about doing anything else. And I remember as a little kid, like watching shows about the legal profession or courtroom dramas and just always saying, like, that's what I want to do. Like, I really want to do that when I grow up. And so as a young kid, I told my grandfather, I was like, I want to be an attorney when I grow up. And he literally started introducing me around the community or at meetings as his little attorney at like 9, 10 years old. So it really is like something that I always knew that I wanted to do. And luckily and thankfully, I actually enjoy doing it because I never thought of doing anything else.
And the image of a lawyer at as 9 years old versus when you start going to law school, start practicing or whatever, did anything not hold up to what you were hoping for?
You know, what excited me the most about attorneys was criminal law.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was so fascinating, to to be able to represent criminals or, just be an advocate for someone in that capacity. I always, like, my parents were very involved in the community and organizing. So I saw or felt injustice very early on. And so I thought that's, I want to be a voice in that way. So I did not practice criminal law. I do feel that I certainly am, as most attorneys are, a strong advocate for justice in our communities, but it didn't turn out to be criminal law as I initially planned.
So tell me about, what was your first job out of law school?
So my first job out of law school was actually in Nevada. I went and worked very briefly at the district attorney's office. And that's when I decided that probably criminal law was better suited for me on TV than what I experienced.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, so let me try some different things. So
was it in Vegas? Did you get to go to Vegas?
Yes, I did get to go to Vegas. At that time, the state of Nevada had a special program that for newly licensed attorneys that you could come and like practice in the DA's office for a year without, immediately seeking the bar there. So
interesting.
I did that. Got some great experience, and life is about experiences. So you take those experiences and you apply them in other areas. So my career though has been very varied. I've done as unique and as varied as the different jurisdictions that I'm licensed in. That's also how varied the practice areas have been. And it was primarily based on the fact that I moved and I took jobs based on where I was moving, what was available. So I've done real estate law, I've done employment law, I worked at Ohio University in their general counsel's office for 6 years, where I did very much varied like policy and things of that nature. So I have a vast experience based upon all of those. And then I finally now feel that, within the past 10 years, I've landed into, as we were talking about, this corporate contract space that I really love. And so I don't anticipate any other changes as far as practice area, but yeah, so it's been, again, why I love the profession is that if that's what you choose to do, and if you want to get different experiences, do different things, live in different areas, you really do have the flexibility to do that in a very unique way.
Yeah. And were any of your other roles before your current firm contractual or working with different agreements? What brought you, from basically the courtroom to this current practice you're doing?
Yeah. So one of the things that, although litigating to me is the ultimate tier of being an attorney, and I love that. I do love that side, but I also love writing and the research part of it as well. And so I really saw a need and an area where clients would come to me and it was already, I won't say too late because it's never too late, right? But I'm like, wow, I wish I would have been working with them 2 years ago, when they signed that partnership agreement or when they got into these deals. Like, I wish I would have been there to help them structure that and like have some terminology in there that would have avoided this. And so started talking to clients about that, and it really just developed in that way of where now I have such amazing clients, and that they, many times clients want to know, like, what should you look for in choosing an attorney, and that's very important. But it's equally important for attorneys to know what they're looking for in a client. And so I really feel that I got to a place where I'm like, okay, I want to, and I'm seeking and working with those clients that appreciate contractual liability. They appreciate having, contract audits and things on the front end, so that we're not in litigation and we're able to, like I said, minimize liability.
Got it.
Down the road.
So where do you find these magical clients that you are so fond of?
That I love.
Yeah, this is
every attorney is like, where do you get those?
please,
right?
yeah. Or do you have any? Can we share? Like, who are these people?
Yes, I do. I work with a lot of clients who do real estate investing. So, like I said, a lot of partnership deals, investment deals. Ironically, because I do consumer law litigation as well on the consumer side, so on the plaintiff side, I also end up working with a lot of credit repair companies as well, and helping them their contracts as a result of that. So it really ties in together. Although it's two different areas of the law, it ends up overlapping, because a lot of times the clients who are going through credit repair programs or, doing things of that nature is because they're trying to get in a position to either purchase a home or do real estate investing.
I see.
So there is a lot of overlap there as well.
So have you ever brought in a client for, let's say, credit repair or something like that, and then was able to represent them for their next stage in their business?
Yes. So I have brought in clients where we did consumer disputing or either went through the litigation process. And then from there, they were, establishing their business or, like I said, investing in other real estate properties. And so we continue that relationship in that way as well.
And they're like, do you do this? And you're like, absolutely, I do this. I mean, like, that's, it's great that you kept them all in one spot.
And when I meet with clients, I really do try to have that holistic, approach as well, which is more like general counsel, right? It's like, you to me for this, but let's look at all the ways that I can partner with you and be of value to you as well.
And are you the only attorney at your firm?
I am. Yes, I do have paralegals. And as a female in the law field, I want to share as well how I came to that. So I never thought like, oh, I want to be in solo practice. But then I had 3 little boys. I found myself in life where I had young kids, and the main thing for me was flexibility. And I was like, how do you totally control your time? And you do that by creating your own, your own firm or your own lifestyle where you can control how that works. So, I always encourage, not that males are never in that position where they have to raise young kids as well, but I always try to be a support and a voice for females as well to, kind of create. And it's not easy, this took 10 years to get to this point, but it's certainly something where you can create that freedom and that flexibility for yourself.
Yeah,
for your
it's an angle. We've spoken with a few sole practitioners, and they've mentioned, they wanted to do things their own way. They wanted to go out on their own, even other people with family. But this is such an interesting point that I didn't think of a benefit. You are your own boss. You are getting your own clients as you need, and you can serve your family or other interests and as you want to. And you seem already like you've been talking so far in this interview that your clients are like your best friends. You've been smiling the whole time. Other people are like, yeah, I'm exhausted. Jesus Christ, like I think you, for knowing you for 20 minutes here, I feel like you've kind of cracked the code a little bit here. I don't want to get you too excited here, but like this is impressive stuff.
Like I don't want to get too excited either.
Not to mention, I have to plug this. Your website is probably the best law firm website I've seen too. It's very it's very cool. I suggest, so it's called the TH Legal Group. Is that what it is?
Nothing to do with that, but I will make sure I pass that compliment on to
okay.
the person you did.
Yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Right. We stay in our lane, right?
Right. I'm seeing these other websites, and I'm like, I bet they made that.
You have to know when to stay in your lane, and when you're not good at something, let someone who is an expert do it, right?
That's a smart. That's a great idea, actually. So, do you use social media as well? You have a lot of followers, it seems. Are you
I
how
do. I do. I use social media more for interaction, and I think the personable side
mm-hmm.
of, what we do. And if there's one thing that I get a lot, and definitely not, I don't know what, I am from Louisiana, maybe it's that Southern hospitality thing, but a lot of times people will reach out to me because they feel that they can, and so just for all of us, just to keep in mind that I've never viewed it that way because I went to law school. So I never view other attorneys, just like you and I are on here having a conversation. I'm like, we're all human, and we're all going through the same things. But there are a lot
Yes.
of people who are afraid to talk to attorneys.
Yeah.
And they're generally afraid to reach out. They think that the just to have a phone call is going to be extraordinary, so
Yeah. Yeah.
having that personal approach and having people feel comfortable even coming to talk to you, whether I can help them or not. I have a great, as we all do, network of other attorneys in different areas. And so just someone feeling like, oh, well, she doesn't do criminal law, but she gave me a great referral. People really appreciate that, and they
Yeah.
remember.
So your clients, do they ever interact with you online through text? Are they in this kind of new social media world as well?
Yeah, so I have when I think about my practice, I have two separate sides of what that looks like, right? So I have one side of the practice that is contract, corporate counsel, general counsel based, and then there's 50% of my practice that's consumer law litigation.
Mm-hmm.
So my clients that I do contract law with, I'm very much engaged with them. We're meeting every week. We're talking, I'm reviewing documents. I know a lot about their business and how they operate. Whereas my consumer law clients, once the case is over, usually, unless we continue, like we talked about, if there's something holistically that I can help them with, that relationship usually ends at that point, unless they need another service.
Yeah.
So there are two different sets of clients, but it all works well together.
That's great. Starting to run out of time, but I just want to get an idea looking forward. Where do you see the TH Legal Consulting in 5, 10 years? Is this becoming a conglomerate, or are you going to keep it exactly the way it is?
Well, there's an aspect of me that is also very much a creative. And so in 5 to 10 years, I would even say 5 years. I won't give myself 10 years. That's too long. I plan to also be doing, which I've already done, film and produced film. So, I see an entertainment component of my practice and what I do as well. And so
So,
that's really something
oh,
that I sit on a lot also.
are you hoping to represent people in that space, or are you going to be the client making the films? And
No, so I plan to produce more content, more film content. So I've produced an independent film a couple of years ago. It was a domestic violence awareness film project that we actually got distribution on. So it was a
wow,
great first project.
that's excellent.
And yeah, and so from there, I also now have a network of people who are in that space and in that industry as well. And so I want to continue to grow and develop in that area as well.
That'd
I
be
think
amazing.
as with life, it's like you do any one thing. It's great to be an expert, right? And there are some things that I feel, I've definitely dominated or accomplished in my life, and that's great. But I also look for ways to continuously challenge myself and continuously be excited about learning something new. And so that's an area that would do that for me, in a way that would allow me to do different things as far as a content perspective.
Do you have like a page or something where we could see like your videos, or find the movie that you've produced?
Yes. So the movie that I produce, actually a new site as we speak, is being developed this week. It will be AuthenticImpact.org, because it's going to be tied to a nonprofit. So that film will be available now for viewing on that website as
Got
well.
it.
Also, that website is linked or at least mentioned on my website, my law website, thlegal.org also.
Wow, that is cool. And how do you feel about connecting those two? You want people to know that their lawyer is also a cool film producer.
Yeah, I feel like I said, there's nothing that we do from going to get something to eat. Like everything we do has some kind of contractual tie,
Yes,
right? So to
sure.
me, even doing the film project, like I was able to do the actor releases myself. I was able to review the distribution deal when we went to
Hmm.
Aspire to get it, so it's like it's different in the sense of it's something new and fun and different to be doing, but I still feel that I'm using my legal skills even in
Yeah,
that in
that's
that
right. I guess there's a creative aspect of that as well. Or do you feel like you're being like a lawyer, but just with movies now?
No, there's certainly a creative aspect. So with the film project that I produced, I actually came up with the concept. And then of course, as we talked about, even with the website, once I like had the idea or
Hmm.
the how I wanted it, then that's when I met with content writers and the actual script writers and people who were actors and who've been doing that for years for them to fine tune it and get it ready for filming and production.
So
But
cool.
yeah, I certainly love the like even everything I do. Maybe one of the courtroom scenarios might be a film, but in everything I do, I'm like thinking like, oh, this would be cool,
Could that
to
be a thing?
that way. Yeah. So it's certainly something that is always in the forefront.
Tiffany, this was really, really awesome. It was really great meeting you. I wish we had more time.
No, I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure for anyone to invite you on their platform. I never take that for granted. So thank you. Thank you to your viewers. And if there's ever anything I can do to help you or collaborate with you, certainly reach out to me.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, everyone.